You are listening to I Believe in Genevieve by Jenny Craig. This audiobook was recorded by Julia Egia. Trudy, Jenny called as she ran up the porch steps. Look what I'm going to do this summer. The flyer in Jenny's hand read, Summer Riding Camp at Rancho Paseana. Looks like fun, Jenny, Trudy said. There's just one problem, little Miss Genevieve. You don't have a horse. Like that's going to stop me, Jenny said with a flourish. Bright and early the next morning, Jenny ran down to Rancho Baciana. Hey John, she called out to her stable's owner. Do you need any help? I only wish I could find some good help, little girl, said John. Well, I only wish I could go to your summer riding camp, Jenny exclaimed. Well, now, John answered. Sounds like we need to make a little deal here. You help me take care of the horses and clean the stables, and I'll give you a spot at riding camp. Sounds great, said Jenny. Except, you know I don't have my own horse, right? This must be your lucky day, said John. It just so happens that the old champ out there in the paddock needs a little extra care. Think you can get him back in shape? Danny nodded vigorously and looked wistfully at a scruffy old horse. It was love at first sight. Why, you're as sweet as candy, Jenny declared. That's it. I'll call you Candy Ride. The next morning, Jenny arrived at the stables 2 hours early. John showed her how to sweep the stables, brush the horses, and fill the water buckets. As Jenny walked along the stalls, she stopped to get acquainted with each horse. She had come prepared with a pocket full of sugary treats. One for you, one for me, Jenny said, offering each horse a sugar treat, then letting another one melt on her own tongue. Sweet! By the time she'd finished making the rounds, Jenny felt sluggish and drowsy. She leaned back on a bale of hay in Candy Wright's stall. Before she knew it, she was fast asleep. If Candy Wright hadn't nuzzled her shoulder, she would have slept through the first session of riding camp. Each rider saddled up their horses and led them into a ring. John made them practice some basic training movements. Candy Ride did okay walking. He had a little trouble trotting, but wow, was he good at standing still. After the session ended and the horses were tended, the hot and thirsty riders were treated to some of their favorite snacks, soda, cookies, and candy. All the kids gobbled up the goodies, except for a golden-haired girl who was sipping from a bottle of water. The next day, Jenny spotted the blonde-haired girl trotting into the ring. She was the best rider that Jenny had ever seen. Her posture was perfect, and her horse was shiny and beautifully groomed. "That's Olivia and her horse Buck," whispered one of the riders. "They always win every ribbon." Jenny was mesmerized by their moves. Olivia and Buck trotted and cantered so effortlessly. Jenny patted Candywine. "We may be slow and out of shape now, but just you wait and see," she said with determination. Later that week, Jenny talked Trudy into going to camp with her. "We've got to figure out why Olivia and Buck are so good," Jenny said. The girls tried not to be too obvious as they peeked into Buck's stall. Olivia talked gently to him as she combed out his mane and tail and cleaned his hooves. At first, Jenny and Trudy didn't see anything out of the ordinary, but then Olivia offered her horse a bucket of food. Buck gobbled it up in record time. "What's in the bucket?" Jenny blurted out, startling Olivia. "Oh, it's a special blend of oats, corn, barley, and bran," Olivia smiled. "For an extra treat. Sometimes I add an apple or a couple of carrots." Jenny asked, "How many sugar cubes do you give Buck?" "I don't give him sweets like that," Olivia answered. "He gets all the energy he needs from these healthy vegetables and greens. It's actually pretty yummy. Want a taste?" "Seriously?" Trudy asked, cautiously taking a teeny tiny bite. But Jenny was all in. She grabbed a handful and said, "Why not? If it works for you and Buck, we're game." Jenny, Trudy, and their new best friend Olivia stayed after practice that day to watch the underwriters go through their programs. "Whoa," said Jenny. "Do you think I'll ever ride that one?" "You're already better than I was when I first started," Olivia admitted. "I was such a weakling that my instructor made me lift bales of hay until my arms felt like they would fall off. He even made me do the same running and jumping workout that the horses did." "No wonder you're the best rider in our camp," said Jenny. "It took a lot of work to get strong enough to handle Buck. He was a wild thing when we first started out together," Olivia said. "We had better get going," Trudy said. "Mom's expecting us home for dinner soon." Olivia called after them, "Don't forget your veggies." They all laughed and waved goodbye. "I sure would like to ride as well as Olivia does someday," said Jenny. "You can do it, Jenny," said Trudy. "It sounds like it has taken Olivia a lot of practice and hard work to become a great rider." "But where do I start?" asked Jenny. "Look at this," Trudy said, showing Jenny a picture of delicious vegetables. "I'm not crazy about vegetables," Jenny confessed, "but those look good enough to eat." "I've been thinking," Trudy said. Olivia's horse perked right up after eating that healthy stuff she gave him. I wonder if eating more vegetables and greens will do the same for us? Makes sense to me, said Jenny. Since you love to cook so much, why don't you come up with a plan? That next morning, Jenny woke up to the sound of the blender whirring away in the kitchen. Oh, good, said Trudy. You're just in time to try my new creation. I call it the Trudy Fruity. She handed Jenny a big glass of something creamy, frothy, and very purple. Drink it, Trudy demanded in her boss's big sister voice. Okay, okay. Jenny took her first sip. Mmm, this is the most delicious milkshake I've ever had. Ha! Tricked you. It's a smoothie, not a milkshake, Trudy said. It has all kinds of healthy stuff in it, like yogurt and fruit. Blueberries and strawberries are what make it all so good for you. It's the breakfast of horse champions, Trudy said with a giggle. Here, try some of this too. Trudy handed Jenny a piece of whole wheat toast slathered with peanut butter. Jenny gave her sister a quick hug and said, Trudy, I heard we proclaimed you my summer camp chef. When Olivia arrived at the stable that day, Jenny was already there. She and John were stacking bales of hay and arranging jumps in a circle around the riding ring. What's all this? Asked Olivia. Surprise, called Jenny. It's our very own obstacle course. Get it? After we talked, I thought it might be fun to try jumping the course ourselves. Have at it, girls, said John. Our big show is just a month away. Jenny cranked up the music on her cell phone and they were off running, jumping, and lifting bales of hay. To help Jenny with her chores, they added a water bucket shovel and a stable sweep the book to their routine. As other riders trickled in and saw how much fun Olivia and Jenny were having, they all joined in. The whole team was rosy-cheeked and giggling when John came in and said, Now, let's give those horses a workout. The days flew by. Finally, there was just one more day until the horse show. Jenny was brushing out Candy right after an especially good practice session. The horse's big brown eyes sparkled, and he was strong, full of energy, and absolutely beautiful. Olivia peered over the stable wall and said, What, Jenny? It's amazing. He doesn't even look like the same worn-out horse you started with. Jenny put her arms around Candywide and cooed into his ear. Yeah, but I knew you were a champ the first time I laid eyes on you. That next morning, Jenny woke up with a bad case of horse show jitters. What was I thinking? She moaned to Trudy. I can't go out there and ride in front of all those people. Come on, little Jess, encouraged Trudy. You can do this. Just look at how far you've come. I believe in you, Genevieve. You do? Jenny looked into a mirror. The girl looking back at her was strong and healthy. Her hair was shiny, her cheeks rosy, and her eyes twinkly. I do, and you should too, Trudy said. Now repeat after me. I believe in Genevieve. I believe in Genevieve. The two girls were still chanting those words as Trudy led Jenny out of the house and down the road to Rancho Paseana. Jenny became more and more excited as she watched each one of her teammates ride the course. Everyone was doing a terrific job. Next up is Genevieve riding Candy Ride, the announcer said. Jenny whispered, I believe in Genevieve. I believe in Genevieve. Then, giving her horse a pat, she said, and I believe in you too, Candy Ride. Jenny and Candy Ride went through each part of the program without a hitch. If the big smiles on John and Trudy's faces were any sign, they must have done a good job. Atta, girl! John shouted. Told you so, said Trudy. After the last rider rode and all the judges conferred, John stood in the winners, circled toward Revens in all of the categories. The riders nervously awaited the results. Each one of you deserves Revens for the best show this table has ever produced, John said, but I think you will all agree that the blue ribbon for most improved goes to Genevieve and Candy Ride. Jenny looked around. Olivia, Trudy, and all the other riders were jumping up and down and clapping. Jenny was pretty sure that Trudy had something to do with the chant they were shouting over and over again. We believe in Genevieve!